ACM award-winning 90s country group Ricochet, best known for their chart-topping gold-selling single Daddy's Money and top 10 hits What Do I Know and Love is Stronger Than Pride, has signed with Encore Music Group to release the band's first album in over a decade. Well, Ricochet Then and Now and the Hits and More is slated for release this August and will mark the 30th anniversary of the band's formation in 1993. Heath Wright, the original frontman of the all the hit singles that landed Ricochet on the Billboard charts throughout the 90s, continues as the voice of the hits in 2023. And the band's distinctive musical style and harmonies earned them the recognition as one of the most popular vocal groups in country music and ultimately the Academy of Country Music honor for the Best New Vocal Group in 1996. And here's something you may not know. Ricochet is the only country artist to ever chart our national anthem and is in constant demand to perform it live. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome lead singer of Ricochet, Heath Wright, to the show. Welcome, Heath.
Well, Ward, thank you for that, brother. And you said that exactly the way we rehearsed it.
Hey, that's it. I mean, got to give you high praise. Man, I've been listening to a lot of Ricochet, and the harmonies are the most incredible thing. And you still have that harmony after all these years.
Well, thank you for that. The band has gone through several different changes since 1993 when I first put the band together. Uh, but we always managed to keep that harmony blend. That was very important to me. So every time I would replace a band member, and I'm not going to lie, I'm the only original member left of Ricochet. I'm the one that outlasted everybody else. The rest of them are in rehab. But I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're out working other things now. But every time I would put a new Ricochet band member in, they had to be an instrumental. They had to be able to play very well, but they also had to be able to sing a part. And that was very important to me to keep that big harmony blend going in my band throughout the years.
Well, so what's the harmony test for a new band member? Does everybody have to sing Seven Bridges Road?
Yeah, Seven Bridges Road is definitely a test. I mean, how can you think of anything better to audition someone on than an Eagles song? Come
Hey,
on.
there
And
you
then
go.
anthem is you'd mentioned that we were the only country artists. I believe I'm going to have to get with my press people. I believe that's not accurate anymore. I believe that there's been a couple other country artists that have charted with it, but we were the first country artist to chart the national anthem. It was actually during the Daddy's Money uh, radio period when we were going for number one on Daddy's Money. We decided to go in and record a version of the national anthem, and it was just happened to be in July, right before the July 4th holidays. So we sent it out to all the radio stations. We serviced everybody with it. And we thought if they played our version of the anthem, they would back it with Daddy's Money. So we would get some extra spins that week. And it worked. So Daddy's Money ended up being a 2 week number one for us, and partly because of our version. The national anthem actually ended up on one of these charts as the hot shot debut. And we weren't even trying to release it as a single at the time. So.
Yeah, to me, that was a perfect marketing plan. I mean, and at the same time, America got some extra exposure.
Yeah, true, exactly right. And I was just doing an interview earlier with a guy that said they still play it on the radio station just about every day, at least 2 or 3 times a week. So our version of it's still getting a little bit of play. I believe Faith Hill has charted it as well, and I want to say Little Big Town too. But we were the first country artist to get it on the radio.
Yeah, I would say definitely first country artist to do that. And even with the national anthem, there's nothing better than having a group come out and sing it, but with great harmony.
Well, thank you. And our arrangement of that song is nothing. It's nothing special, in my opinion, and that was by design. When I recorded it, we did what we call parallel harmonies. So if the melody goes up, so do the harmonies. If it goes down, so do the harmonies. So there's not a whole lot of counterpoint or any of the really weird musical choral type stuff there. It's just simple. We wanted to keep it simple so that the people could sing along with it.
Well,
And
who were your vocal influences when it came to harmony? Were there other groups that you looked at that had great harmony and maybe pick and choose some elements from those?
oh yes, Restless Heart. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Restless Heart fan to ever breathe fresh air. I love those guys. I'm really honored to say that I actually toured with Restless Heart. Uh, their lead singer, Larry Stewart, as you know, he's with a group now called the Frontmen of Country Music. Well, when they first started putting that project together, they went out and did some shows. I believe they were doing some USO tours for our overseas men and women in the military, and it conflicted with some Restless Heart dates. So they asked me to come and fill in for Larry on a couple of weekend tours, and so I got to do that. And fast forward about 5 years later, Greg Jennings, the guitarist, wanted to go home to Oklahoma to his class reunion at OSU. And so they called me to see if I'd fill in for Greg. So I like to tell people I'm the spare tire of Restless Heart.
I love that. Now, I know that you signed with a new record company and have an all new album coming out, the first in over a decade. Is this a collection of hits and new material?
It certainly is. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's what we call it. We call it Hits and More. Ricochet, Then and Now, Hits and More. We went in and kind of gave a facelift to 6 of the old hits. Songs like Daddy's Money and What Do I Know and Love is Stronger Than Pride. Songs that people will remember. And we just decided to re-record them. And then we got to thinking, it's been well over a decade, almost 15 years now since our fans have had any new music from Ricochet. So we had a collection of songs. A lot of them were already in the can, already had been recorded, but we just had no way of getting them out there, on a nationwide basis. So we kind of went in and remastered a lot of that stuff and decided to put it out as well. So this is a 16-song project. It's almost like a greatest hits project, but then again, there's more. There's new music on it as well.
Well, you have a newly released single, Beauty of Who You Are. Your voice has never aged.
Oh,
How did you retain that original Ricochet sound on this new single? Because it's a great song.
oh, I love that song. I'm sitting here trying to think of the original. I'll think of it here in a minute. The guy that sang it first is just an amazing vocalist. He's also the writer of the song. Oh man, that bothers me. That I should have done my research. But I love that song. One of the very best vocals I'd ever heard was on the original recording of that, and I just tried to copy what he was doing. Honestly, just about every vocal lick that I'm trying to sing on our version of it was. Oh man, I almost had it. See, this is what happens when you get to be 56. Anyway, he's a Louisiana singer, and he's just such an amazing vocalist and great songwriter. And that song, I was just doing an interview before I signed on with you. Someone told me, said, apparently you've broken all the rules of country music. That it's technically not a country song. It's a blues song. I mean, like I said, he's from Louisiana, the guy that wrote it and recorded it first. It's just good music, and I just fell in love with the song first time I heard it. And one of the guys in the band said, "Yeah, we probably can't record that. There's no way you can sing those licks." And I'm like, "Yeah, hold my beer." So I tried. I did my very best on that one. And we've never sung that song live. Honestly, I don't know if I could. It is very vocally demanding. We may have to work it up and see if I've still got it well enough to try to sing that thing from start to finish.
You did an amazing recording of this song. I mean, like I said, I have been listening to it over and over again. But like I said, your voice has not shown any age whatsoever. Because I know when singers get older, sometimes they kind of, drop the range a bit. And it doesn't sound like you had to do it at all.
I feel it more these days when we do a show because we're a high energy band. We go out and we give it all every single performance, and I haven't changed the keys of any of my songs from the original recordings, and that's a plus and minus thing. I mean, plus is that they still sound like they did when we recorded them. Minus is it's really hard on the old vocal cords, but I'm hanging in there trying to take care of myself and drinking lots of water. So I try to I try to give the people what they paid for, and I appreciate the kind words. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have still hung on to the vocals.
Oh, absolutely. Now I know that 1990s country music is having a very big resurgence. What's that feel like now?
Oh, I love it. I don't know what's causing it, but thank God that it's happening. People, we'll have 30-year-old women, 35-year-old women walk through our autograph line and say, "My dad used to tell me that song was written about me when I was in kindergarten." Talking about Daddy's Money. Daddy's Money is a big hit that people still sing along with. And I'm thinking, 30, you're 30, 35 so at least. And I'm thinking, well, it has been a long time since that song has been out on radio. It was 1996 when it peaked at number one. Um, but I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that people are still loving 90s music. And it's like you said, it's kind of going through a resurgence right now. Mark
Well,
Broussard. Mark Broussard is the guy who wrote and recorded Beauty of Who You Are first. Oh man, I knew I'd think I would eventually.
hey, better late than never.
Here you go.
well, with this big resurgence of 1990s country music, it was funny because I was actually talking to T.G. Shepherd not too long ago, and he asked me, he goes, "You like 90s country music?" I go, "Yeah, I mean, the 80s and the 90s were great for country because it brought country back and it put the genre above all other music genres for probably, a solid 15 years."
I agree, and I'm not going to badmouth today's country music. It's different than it was in the '80s and '90s, but there's still some good stuff out there. I like a lot of the songs that are out on country radio these days. I don't listen to as much country radio as I used to. I live on a cattle ranch that I grew up on, and so I'm busy doing things during the day, so I don't get to listen to the radio as often as I did when I lived in Nashville. But the thing that you'll notice about country radio these days that you don't really that is missing, I think, is one, songs with great story songs, great lyrical songs. I had a songwriter friend tell me that, and he was kind of bad mouthing country music, and like I said, I'm not going to do that, but he said that today's country music sounds like three beer commercials strung together. So and I guess it is kind of some of it is kind of diddyish, but I'm I'm a fan of a lot of the songs that are out there. You can still find good music on country radio today. You just got to listen a little bit longer. But one of the things that you won't hear a lot on country songs these days is they've kind of done away with the solos, the instrumental breaks. And I made a point when I put Ricochet together to have a great steel guitarist, a great fiddle player, and some room for a few guitar solos for myself every now and then. So I love having solos in a song. To me, that's just as much part of the song as the lyrics. I love a good instrumental break every now and then.
Well,
The
yeah, it's
easy,
just like in rock. I mean, we're all waiting for the guitar solo, and of course, we don't hear those anymore. But you brought up the fact that of lyrical songs, and we do miss that. I mean, I remember. I mean, the moment you said that, I can think of Randy Travis, John Michael Montgomery,
Mhm.
Ricky Van Shelton, Vince Gill.
Oh yeah.
So they all had that type of song, but also in the '90s, was there a bit of competition amongst all of the bands like Ricochet, Little Texas, Diamond Rio, Restless Heart? Was there a little bit of battle there?
Well, there's always healthy competition in any music genre or any business for that matter. I mean, you're always kind of keeping an eye. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of Restless Heart, and I'm a little jealous that Richie McDonald, the lead singer of Lone Star, is out on tour with Larry Stewart and Tim Rushlow right now. I told him last time I saw him down in Florida, I said, "Hey, I'm a front man. I should be part of this tour." But all jokes aside, I'm a big fan of Little Texas and Lone Star and all of the bands that were part of country music back in those days. Um, they did a lot to help our genre, to help make the band an actual artist. That was fairly unheard of until Alabama came along. If you think about it, I remember the story about when Alabama was doing the New Faces shows back. I want to say CRS Country Radio Seminar. I want to say it was 1979. I may be a little off on the year, but they went up to present some new music and to introduce themselves to all the country radio people out there. And they wouldn't let Mark Herndon, the drummer, come up and play. The three singers in the band, Teddy, Jeff, and Randy, they had to just stand at the microphones and sing with the backup band as their accompaniment. It was unheard of in country music that the band might actually be the artist, that they might actually play their own parts. So that's I love the fact. I was at an Alabama show a few months ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was talking to Teddy backstage. And I said, "Man, I really want to thank you guys. Y'all did something that I'm sure you realize it, but you blazed the way for the country band. You and I said the same thing to one of the members of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band here just a month or two ago in Nashville. We did an event together, and which one was it? Again, I'll think of it here in a minute. It's the banjo player. Anyway, I told him, I said, you guys in Alabama, y'all were trailblazers, and it was unheard of for bands to be considered the artist back then.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, Alabama ruled that category at every award show for so long that I don't even know who even knocked them off.
Oh, who knows? It was I don't know, but yeah, you're and rightfully so. I mean, they might have even invented a new category at the award shows. Vocal group of the year. A lot of the award shows would combine group and duo. So like vocal group / duo of the year was an award because we had bands now.
Well, yeah, and that's probably when Brooks and Dunn end up taking over.
Yep,
But
exactly.
but for you, last year you were back on the Opry stage. What was that like to be back after 20 plus years?
22 years before I mean, almost to the day. It was October 16th this past year that we got to stand in that sacred circle and look out to the Grand Ole Opry crowd. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I really was. I don't get nervous when I step out on stage anymore, but I still get nervous at the Opry. And I remember, I saw it. There's a show called Opry Encore. I don't know if it's still on RFD or not, but I have a episode of it taped of the last time that they aired one of our last performances on there, and it was the performance 22 years ago on that stage, and so I still have it on my DVR. Every now and then, when I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll go watch it, and it's like, yeah, that's what I looked like when I was young. And my son, who's 21 now, who kind of missed all of that, because he was born in 2000 and 2002. He's actually about to turn 21 this Saturday. He's like, Dad, you were famous. I said, yeah, I was back. It was a long time ago, son, but yeah, Dad was famous at one time.
Well, now that you have a new record label and a new album, what's next for Ricochet?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of touring this summer. I just bought a new tour bus. As I said, I signed with a management company, and a couple of years ago, or about a year and a half ago, and they said, get ready, man. We're going to put you to work. And so they got me a new booking agent and a new record label. Lots of dates are on the books. We're going to get out there and tour as much as possible, and just bring country music to the people. And obviously, we got this new project to promote. So I want people to hear this new music. That was important to me when I signed with Spinning Plates Management. Was that I had to get something new out to the people. I wasn't just going to rest on my old hits anymore. I wanted to be more current and have new music to present.
Well, I love that. And ladies and gentlemen, you need to check out the brand new upcoming album, Ricochet Then and Now, the hits and more. And in the meantime, check out that amazing single, Beauty of Who You Are. Heath Wright's voice, again, has never changed. So head over to ricochetonline.com to get all of their music, get all of their tour dates. And remember what I say, you buy the music, buy the merch, buy the concert tickets, and then go and enjoy yourself. And let me tell you one thing, you're heading to a Ricochet concert, you get ready because it's going to be party time. So get ready for ricochetonline.com. All things Ricochet, again, buy the concert ticket, buy the merch, buy the music. That's how you support music in general and keep our music alive. Hey, Heath, thank you so much for coming on today.
It's my pleasure, Ward. Thanks for having me, brother.
You bet. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and I'll see you next time.